Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. I think you all must have been pretty exhausted playing colors. Yeah, come now, let's listen to a good discourse today. Come, let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, together with our hearts filled with devotion, faith, and complete prapatti, we offer our Sastanga Pranams to you, O Lord, to seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your compassion, your strength, your forgiveness. Please bestow upon us Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya, only and only to understand thy true nature. And bless us that at the end of our lives we reach your holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Today we are on our Divine Discourse number 271, the 18th of March 2022. Plavanama Samsara, Uttarayan, Shishira Rutu, Falgunamas, Shukla Paksh, and Paurnima. On this auspicious day of Friday and Holi, and the auspicious time of the evening, Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartam, Naham Karta, Hari Karta. We make a firm resolve in our minds that whatever is happening to us in our lives is only and only at the behest of the Almighty, for He has chosen us those rare privileged souls where He creates situations in our lives to bring in the right dispassion and earnestness to reach the Divine Almighty. We accept each and every situation as His prasad and live our lives ever established in that Almighty. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. So, we'll continue our study on the realized soul who is a Jeevan Mukta. So last time what we saw was how with the help of the Shastras and a Guru who is a Brahmanishta, he is not only knows the Shastras, but he has established himself in the understanding of the true nature of Paramatma. So, with such a great opportunity in one's life, how a soul evolves into being a Jeevan Mukta. So, we have studied in our previous class. So, now today we will understand more about this Jeevan Mukta. See, before that, what we really need to understand. See, many a times I don't take up the text in the way the text has to be taken, because we are not interested in just covering various segments or topics or portions of the text. What we need to get from this is that feeling, that realization. See, please understand, if you want to reach the highest, that is the Paramatma, your mind, your senses, your body are of no use. None of these three come to your perception of the Paramatma. You have to cross all these three. So which means any amount of study is just like a pole vault. Now as a pole vaulter, he or she takes the pole, she runs to her target, and then she hits the pole to the ground, and what he or she does, they jump and they cross over the bar. Now while crossing the bar, they don't take the pole along with them, they just leave it on the other side, because it's of no use. You have to make use of the pole to get the gravity, to go out of the gravity and cross over the bar. In the same way, here our mind is the most predominant obstacle which is between us and the Lord. So, based on my practical experience, I have been trying to modulate. Sometimes there is a lot of focus on certain aspects, and sometimes not so much on certain aspects, because I know that that's not going to make much sense to our understanding. So here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, after having covered who is an adhikari, who is the true beneficiary or the eligible candidate for moving forward on the spiritual life, he explained all that. And then he gave us the Tattva Viveka. Tattva Viveka was the power of discrimination between the real and the unreal, the truth and the false, the permanent and the temporary. So that Tattva Viveka, he guided us so much to say in our daily lives, that we look at each and every action. Is this going to be of any use to me post my death? Because death can strike you any moment. You can be a child, or you may be a relatively aged person. Death, we do not know when it strikes anybody. So which means now whatever action I am doing in the world, will this particular result of this action come with me in my post my death. So this Tattva Viveka, unless and until this comes, we will not be able to get out of the clutches of this samsara. One after the other, you have some responsibility or the other. That's never going to end. We'll say, oh, now once my daughter is married or my son is married, he gets a job, then we are released of all the responsibilities. You think so? But there is something else which will come. Look into others' life. They have something or the other on their list. So that is not going to end. What we need to do is, our top priority is self-realization and God realization. And accordingly, simultaneously, be responsible with all the duties what we have. But without looking at the higher, which is God realization, there is no meaning to, however best you try to perform in this world, somewhere or the other, you will be questioned again. So, after Adhikari, Tattva Viveka, now Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he takes us to the topic of moksha, which we saw last time. Now again, this particular word moksha means, in simple terms, liberation. Now liberation is of two types. First, as the very word says, to be free from or to be relieved from. So, relieved or free from what? So, one of the major important aspects here is, we all experience a sense of incompleteness in our lives. We are all in search of some kind of a joy, some kind of happiness, through n number of ways. Our mind is there, it gives you fancies, one after the other. It says, I want this, and once that is done, I want this, and then again this, it goes on. There is a deep chasm, an unfulfilled vacuum in our minds, because of which what happens is, we are continuously restless. It could be one thing or two things or a couple or a few things on hand, but those are enough to make your mind restless all along. So on one part, we have these kind of restlessness with the mind throwing so many wants, and on the other side, we do not know our real nature. Our real nature is Ananda, complete bliss. And see where we are. We are completely unfulfilled just because we do not know our true nature, our real nature. And just because we take ourselves to be the body, the mind, the senses, and so on. So now what has actually happened is, our problem has been compounded for us. We ourselves have compounded the problem. One is not knowing our true self, and secondly, knowing ourselves in the wrong manner. So, not knowing my true nature itself is a serious issue. And along with that, we have the problems of the body, the physical body. We have the problems of the mind, and all these things, they enter deeply into our lives, a life of ignorance, which is filled with body-related problems, mind-related issues, and then our intellect, which is circumscribed in fancy notions. See how we are getting entangled. Understand, very simple. You had to go somewhere, you are going somewhere else. So, these body related issues, yes, we know the body undergoes so many modifications. As we move forward in age, we see that the body's vitality is lowering. The body is not supporting you to the extent what it used to support you earlier, and so on. And what happens to your mind? The mind is getting more and more fearful. The mind is getting more and more negative. It's not having the kind of zeal and strength it used to have earlier. And to top it, the senses are again playing their havoc. They have their own cravings. So, with this kind of a feeling of an incompleteness, and the mind, intellect, and the senses always they are putting you down. So what happens is we have completely got into this trap. We have become miserable, we have become dependable. And you ask anybody, are you happy? Nobody will say I am happy. But if rarely somebody says I am happy, after a pause, there is a but. I am happy, but that comes there. So now, what is that? This kind of miserable, limited life, what we all are experiencing. Now, in short, the Shastras call it as Samsara. This what we are exactly experiencing now. It is called as Samsara. So now when we say liberation from what? So the first thing is liberation from this Samsara. If you have understood the Tattva Bodha in the right sense, the true essence of the Paramatma and the Atma, first thing what they say is you will be rid of the Samsara. But another aspect of Samsara, we don't stop with this. What is the other aspect of Samsara? Miseries is one aspect where we are experiencing on a daily basis. Now the other aspect of this is the journey. This Samsara, it's not, okay, it started with my birth and it is going to end with my death. No. It has got part 1, part 2, part 3. It is like a TV web series or a movie sequel. One after the other, they're going to come. As you all have seen, on the web series, the moment one is over, then the next episode automatically it is buffering there and it appears. So in the same way, this Samsara also has this nature of moving on to the next birth. Why is that? Understand this carefully. The reason is that in the current life, whatever craving we have, that mind which is restless, it could be anything. Oh, I want my daughter to be at peace, or I want my son to be more successful, or I want my spouse to be in this manner, or it would have been good if I had this kind of a liberty or financial capability or whatever it is. So these things, mind which is constantly meditating, thinking, worrying, frustrated, all these things, that mind which is propelled further, because it has not been fulfilled and because it seeks fulfillment, various other avenues of fulfillment, all that comes through a rebirth. See, these are all deep connotations from the Shastra, which is exactly telling you, like for example, if you are studying, let's say you're studying about nature. How does a hurricane happen? So they'll explain to you. So and so thing, if it starts from so and then this builds up and this builds up and this builds up, and at one fine point a hurricane or a tornado happens. So in the same way, the more you are discontented, unfulfilled at the mind level, you are making a way and a path for a rebirth. How much can the body help the mind? Tell me. Because the body has got an expiry date. Mind doesn't seem to have an expiry date. Because even at the age of 90, you ask somebody, that person says, I am young at heart. He may not be able to stand properly or even sit properly, but he says, I am quite young at heart. I am fresh and young. Body has no stamina or strength, but the mind is always wanting so many things. And because the body has an expiry date, and because the mind has no expiry date, which we all know that the Sukshma Sharira continues to the next body. And what is Sukshma Sharira? Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara, all these, your senses, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, all this go on to the next birth. So until and unless this mind is properly trained and educated to settle down, this cycle of birth will continue. And when we say cycle in the literal meaning, it's not like a cycle. It's actually, as we said, one after the other. One series is over, another episode will start. Just because after life there is death, and again after death there is life, we call it as a cycle. But otherwise it's a web series. So, we also cannot say that this is an infinite web series. It has got an end. And what is that end? When you understand, when you train your mind with the true facts of life. So when we say liberation from what? It has got two answers. One is, an immediate answer of liberation is from the a sense of a deep unfulfillment, which is there in all of us, which is expressing as kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Kama, desire; krodha, anger; lobha, greed; moha, delusion; mada, pride; matsarya, jealousy. So we have this deep sense of unfulfillment by all these. Like as in the Gita, 16th chapter, 21st verse, Lord Krishna says, Trividam narakasyedam dwaram nashana matmanaha kama krodha tata lobha. He says, Tasmadetat trayam tyajet. He says, Kama, Krodha and Lobha. These three things. He has just spoken of these three things in one of these chapters. He says, get rid of these. These 6 are just some samples of our traits. These are the essential ones which they have actually enumerated over here. But the ramifications, the modifications, and the way these 6 take us to different areas and keeps our mind always engrossed and unfulfilled. A simple example, take the last one, jealousy. Somebody has got something we have not got. That is enough to keep you worrying all the time. So, freedom from this unfulfillment. A person who has known the self, who has understood what his true nature is, he is called a kritakritya, meaning one who is fulfilled. And what we need to do over here, we have to just get rid of these qualities. And how do you understand yourself? This is a kind of observation chart for you. If you feel disgusted, unfulfilled, and all the time in these 6 parameters, the more and more you are in these parameters, understand that your spiritual progress is not happening to the mark. And what should your situation be? Your situation should be that I don't want anything. Let things what are happening keep happening. They will keep happening. And you should just be say, I am in bliss. That is when you are getting detached from this body, mind, senses complex. Nothing more a person who is of self-realized, he will want. And when there are no wants, the need to do also ceases. So this is the first aspect, where immediately after Jeevan Mukta gets that knowledge of the Paramatma, and He moves from the body, mind, senses. He says, "Oh Lord, it is all you and you alone. You have created this. You have nurtured this. And moment to moment you are taking care of this. Me, out of my foolishness, I am saying that it is me, it is me, it is me. I'm sorry. It is all you and you alone. You surrender yourself." Don't say that I am that Lord. That is another big mistake as a sadhak we do. Immediately, yes, of course, even the Mahavakya's final Mahavakya tells us Aham Brahmasmi, meaning I am that Brahman. We don't understand because we have not dissolved that I in us. I means the current I as a Jivatma. So just say, "Oh Lord, it is you who is this body, this mind, senses. I am not this." So first you come out of your I, and then you will merge with the Paramatma. So this is the first advantage what a person of Jeevan Mukta will get is he will become Kritakritya, free from all wants. Meaning he is satisfied, he is contented, he no more has any cravings or aspirations. And then the second answer for what is liberation is from the wheel of samsara. What we said, this unending web series which is going on and the sequel which is going on, then finally there is an expiry date to the mind. So what is this liberation? So liberation 1 from the state of unfulfillment, and liberation step 2 will be from the series of birth and death. Now how does a person put an end to this? Very simple, just by that knowledge, knowing what is the truth. Now you are a beggar. Finally you come to know that you are the prince, the minister. He comes and he sees you and he says, "Oh my dear child, we had lost you when you were a baby." And he looks at you and he says, "You are not what you are now. You are the prince of this entire land." So in the same way, the Lord is giving us that opportunity. You are not this meager Jivatma. Under ignorance, you have understood yourself to be this Jivatma. It is that Lord and Lord alone. So when this knowledge comes in, such a person, even while living, he gets liberated. This is by removing all the stages of worry and reaching a state of fulfillment, you become a Jeevan Mukta and putting an end to the cycle of birth and death, you become a Videha Mukta. Videha Mukta means you don't have another life ahead. So unfulfillment, how does it end? By knowing oneself. And what do you mean by knowing oneself? In short, you have to know that your true nature is that Sat Chit Ananda. You know that you are that Purna, that complete. As we say, see the meaning of Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Everything is Purna over here. Now because you have considered that I in this creation of yours, you are stuck over here. The Lord says, just remove that. You have invaded in my private property. Come out. Because you have invaded, He is so kind. He says, okay, you do good, I'll give you good. You do bad, I'll give you bad. But you have to take life after life and keep experiencing all the good and bad which you are doing. So once this knowledge comes, that's all. Arey, I am an intruder here. You accept and tell, "Oh my Lord, because of ignorance, I have been saying all this. Now I surrender myself. I am not what I had thought. It is you and you alone. That's all what we need to do. That's all." And we'll discuss the technique how to do this. Because we know, now the knowledge we know, but how to use it and how to make it our self-experience, that we will see in due course. So here in this way, what Jagadguru Shankaracharya is trying to tell us is, come out of that false notion, that intrudership notion that you are so and so as a Jivatma in the body. We discussed of three stages: Jiva, Jivatma and Atma. So move to this next level, which is the Jivatma. Know that you have had endless births and deaths. And then now you relinquish. We are now relinquishing the second stage. We are saying, oh Lord, I know it is you and you. You have created this marvelous body, mind. And what is your nature? Satchit Ananda means existence, consciousness and bliss. You have got no limitations. You have no limitations of time, nor space, nor objects. When you say in terms of time, you were there earlier, you are there now, and you are going to be there eternally in future also. But that's not the case with us. We all have a date of birth, and we are all going to have a date of death. As Swami Chinmayananda said, our life autobiography is nothing but a dash in between our date of birth and our date of death. That's all. So we are all bound by time. But this infinite nature of Paramatma is, he is not bound by time. And space. If we are sitting here, like as I am sitting in my home in Mumbai, I am only here, I am not there in any other place. But that Paramatma, that power is prevailing in the entire universe. That's how you are seeing the whole cosmos is in motion. It is prevailing everywhere. And when you talk of an object, if I am a human, I am not anything else other than a human. So this existence, consciousness is there all the time, meaning it is eternal. It is there everywhere, meaning it is omnipresent, and it is there in every object. It is omniscient. So that is the true nature of what? Let's not say you meaning I and you. Let's not say that. Of this body, mind. Let's accept that first. Otherwise, this creation is beyond your imagination. Even if you want to create a human like this, you cannot do that. So once we get this knowledge and understanding that if something like this has been created here, you can see not only yourself, you can see so many people. You can see so many creatures around you. You can see the entire planet. You can see the entire cosmos. All that is created by one supreme power. And how do you say that I am I? Or it's me, it's mine? Nothing is yours. So once you get this fact straight into our head, then this I will run away. And there are three things, Trividam for self-realization. One is Tattva Jnana, meaning to know about the true self, what we are now studying. Okay. Second is Vasana Kshaya. Vasana Kshaya is that Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, what I told you. All the tendencies what we have to get rid of them. Vasana Kshaya. And the third thing is Aham Nasha or Mano Nasha. So when these first number 1 and number 2 are in control, then immediately that Aham Nasha happens. You again and again think of what we discussed now. You see how the whole creation happened. How even you were created in your mother's womb. What control do you have on anything? Nothing. So when you start accepting yourself to be an intruder, and when you surrender yourself, then you rise above. Till the time you are in this body, mind conscious, in your own state that I am this, I am this, I am in this, you will be, one thing is experiencing that incompleteness, and the second thing is you will be a qualified person to be on the wheel of samsara. That's all we can say. So, now, who is this Jeevan Mukta? A person who works from happiness. See, we all work for happiness, right? But he works from happiness. He is already happy. He works from that point of view, not for happiness. Because the Upanishads tell us, Anando Brahme Divya Janat. Bhrigu Maharshi finally understood, my true nature is Ananda within. What a great mess I have made of myself. Unnecessary looking around for pleasures which I will never get. And he says, go dive deep within. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, very clearly he says, Anando Brahme Divya Janat. So now we live a life so completely. We have been currently living a life as a body, as a mind, a small conglomerate, as a jiva. But once you get this Tattva Jnana, this knowledge of the self, that you are not this, you are Atma. You have surrendered yourself. That's all. That is enough to do. You automatically become that Paramatma only, or that Atma. So, if we are able to somehow manage to attain or to achieve, then we are sorted. Till then, you are eligible for both number 1 and number 2, which is a great sense of unfulfillment till the time you pass away. And the second one is, you are immediately eligible for another life which you don't know what it is. So this is a Jeevan Mukta Purusha. He is called Jeevan Eva Muktaha. Even while living he is liberated. How? Because he knows his true self. He is free from this anxiety. He has freedom from that tension, freedom from the wants, freedom from greed, etc., etc., etc. Ultimate freedom for what? We are all weaklings. You get freedom from this sense of weakling. Not knowing who we are, as the Upanishad says, Amrutasya Putraha. It says, Amrutasya Putraha. You are immortal souls. Putraha means sons and daughters. Amrutasya, immortal. Immortality is our birthright. And where are we stuck? Imagine, we are stuck in a dungeon. And that was only because of the power of Maya and our past karmas. Okay, so now Shankaracharya ji, he gives us the Jeevan Mukta Kaha, a shloka, and there he explains from where you have to move on to what? In practical sense. So I'll explain the meaning of that particular shloka, and then we will go in detail about it. Okay, I'll just post this slide for you all. Nanu Jeevan Muktakaha Yatha Deha Aham Purusha Aham Brahmano Aham Shudra Ahamasmi Iti Dridhanishchayaha Tata Na Aham Brahmanaha Na Shudraha Na Purushaha Kintu Asangaha Satchidananda Swarupaha Prakasha Rupaha Sarvantaryami Chidananda Chidakasha Rupa Asmi Iti Dridhanishchayaha Aparoksha Jnanavan Jeevan Muktaha. You know, he has explained so very well in very simple terms. He says, Nanu means then, Jeevan Muktaha, one who is liberated while living. Kaha, who? Then, who is the one who is liberated while living? He says, just as Tata, Dehaha, Dehoham. Dehoham means I am the body. Purushoham, I am a man. Brahmanoham, I am a Brahmin. Shudroham asmiti, meaning I am a Shudra. Thus, Dridhanishchayaha, with a firm belief, we all are in that firm belief that I am the body, I am a man, I am a Brahmin, or I am a Shudra, I am an employer, or I am an employee, I am a husband, I am a wife, I am a son, I am a daughter. These are all our firm beliefs. Just as these are our firm beliefs, now he gives us the answer. If you want to know who is a Jeevan Mukta, you have considered yourself to be all this, isn't it? Now he says, Tatha. In the same way, na brahmanaha, na aham brahmanaha, na shudraha, na purushaha, kintu. Meaning, I am not a Brahmin, I am not a Shudra, na Purushaha, I am not a man, I am not nor a husband, nor a wife, nor a daughter, nor a son, nor an employer, nor an employee. This way, he says, I am not this. Just the way you had firmly assumed yourself to be that, so and so, as per your ID card and your passport, now he says, you completely change your mind. He says, I am neither of all this. Then what am I? If I am not that, the question comes not to anybody, what am I then? So then he says, Kintu, but you are asangaha, you are unattached. Satchidananda Swarupaha, you are the nature of that existence, consciousness, bliss. Prakasha Rupaha, you are that effulgent Sarvantaryami, the indweller of all. Chidakasha Rupaha Asmi, I am that formless awareness. Iti, thus, Dridhanishchayaha, have that firm determination. Aparoksha Jnanavan, one who has this immediate knowledge of this being your true nature. Jeevan Mukta, he is liberated even while living. That's all. This is all the solution he has given us. Don't consider yourself to be this body, this person. You just consider that you are not there. You are an intruder. And who is this then? It is the Lord and Lord alone. See, here I would like to just make a slight change in your understanding. Don't consider yourself to be that Lord, that Satchidananda Swarupa, effulgent, Sarvantaryami and all, No, because we are still not out of that I. I is very strong in us. You just say, I am not this. Come out at that stage. That's enough. As we discussed a while ago. Just say to your mind, oh my God, what a big mistake I have made. It is just that simple understanding what we need to have. How one can get out of this Samsara chakra? Just by knowing your true self. That's all the Lord says. Make a firm conviction in your minds that you are not this person, this personality, or this identity what you have created for yourself. You are not that. Know that you are an intruder. I'm using my words here. Know that you are an intruder here and come out of that. Because I have done nothing to be what I am today. So, once a person gets this understanding, he firmly establishes himself in that. See, there are three types of knowledge. One is Pratyaksha Jnana. Pratyaksha Jnana is where you have a direct knowledge in which you know by your senses. Like for example, you are seeing your mobile. You say, I can see my mobile. I can hear the sound. I can touch the water. See, these are all with your senses. You are able to get the direct experience or understanding or knowledge of a particular subject. That is known as Pratyaksha. हम प्रत्यक्ष देखा है, as we say, मेरा with my own senses I have seen. Now, Paroksha Jnana is the second way of getting knowledge. Somebody tells you that so and so temple in so and so place is extremely powerful, out of the world experience. They'll say, I had been there, you must go there. The moment I entered the temple, and he or she will describe the entire experience. So that was para aksha. Para means other, aksha means senses. Now, a dear friend of mine who has got this experience, he is para, he is other than me. With his or her senses, they have told me. So I have got the knowledge through others' senses. This is the second kind of knowledge which we all have in our lives. There is one more to this. There is a third level of experience or knowledge which is known as aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha means to know this, we don't need to have any senses or mind at all. You just know by even without thinking about it. Now, if somebody asks you, are you a male or a female? Do you really take time to understand, refer somewhere or ask somebody, what am I? Am I a male or a female? No. You have got that self-experience, that immediate knowledge they call, which is neither direct nor indirect. It is not an object which is either near you or it is far away from you. So there they say that this direct, immediate knowledge what you have is that aparoksha jnana. That is exactly what we all need to have this particular subject as. So far, what is our understanding? Our understanding is that we are this body, mind, senses conglomerate. Now, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he tells us, now look, you have considered yourself to be this. You are not that. And what you are of the nature of Satchidananda, Antaryami, Prakashaha. He says all this. Now, imagine a wife telling a husband, when the husband is going out of the house on work, and the wife is telling her husband, see, please, when you go, go only to the gents' toilet. What is the meaning of this? It's your understanding, your knowledge that you are a male and you are definitely you will go to a gents' toilet. The wife need not tell you. And if there is a separate queue for ladies and gents, make sure that you are in the gents' queue. Has anybody to tell us or remind us what our gender is or what our name is? Because this is our immediate knowledge, an aparoksha anubhuti, that jnana, that self-knowledge. We all have this. And how did we get this knowledge? We got it from our parents, our mother, our father, our elders, our siblings. See, just remember yourself when you were a child. Maybe you may not know what has exactly happened to you. You may have those fade memories, or at least you can see what is happening to small children. What does the mother or the father say? They'll show this child in a mirror. They'll take near the mirror and they'll point a finger at the child and say, you are Kamala, 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 they'll say. Now the child, it is not able to understand. Mother is again and again pointing, you are Kamala, Kamala. And then the mother will say, I am Mama, Mama, the mother will say. She'll point at herself and she'll say, I am Mama. And she'll point at the father and say, this is your Papa, Papa. So Papa, Mama and Kamala. You are Kamala. So now this child is getting that knowledge. It doesn't know itself. Now what is our problem? We know ourselves to be something wrong. But now the child doesn't know anything. This aparoksha anubhuti, now the child as it starts understanding, then the mother will ask, Who am I? Then the child, when is able to talk, the child would say, Mama, she'll say. Then Papa. Then who are you? She'll say, Kamala. So now this becomes that self-knowledge for the child. Thereafter, it need not ask anybody what she is. Even, at a later stage, if the brother or sister, if they come and say, you are Ramu. They say, you are Ramu, you are Ramu. She'll say, no, I am Kamala. And if the sibling keeps saying that, she'll go and complain to the mother. See, mother, he is saying, you are Ramu, I am Kamala. Then mother says, yes, you are Kamala. Again, it got a confirmation. So, this is some direct experience what a small child has right from its infant stage. Another example for this aparokshanubhuti I'll give you. Now, there is fire. Okay, mother is cooking, fire, and the child comes. So the mother says, no, don't go, take your hand near this fire. It's hot. We say, we do those kind of things. It's hot, we say. Now the child doesn't understand. And once what the child does, there are some mischievous children, it puts its hands in the fire. The moment the child puts the hand in the fire, it gets burnt and she withdraws her hand, and now that has become a direct experience that fire is hot. You should not place your hand in the fire. This is the meaning of aparokshanubhuti. Meaning even a reflex action will happen in such a way that it has given you that knowledge. Let's say you are even going close to it, but your reflex action will immediately take away your hand. Now you tell the child, place your hand in this. The child will say, no, it is very hot. Now, this is that aparokshanubhuti which a child gets about itself and about various others in the family. Now the Shastras and the Guru, when a deserving soul comes up, this knowledge is given that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not this jiva. As far as you are in that jivatva bhava, you will continue to be in the web series. But the moment you know that you are not that, you are released then and there. That is exactly what this shloka is saying. It should not be that, not a knowledge where you are doubting. You have to deeply meditate on this. That is where these Mahavakyas come of help to us. These Mahavakyas, they tell us again and again, they tell the same thing they tell us. Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. What does this say? It just says what your true nature is. So for that, we first need to give up our mistaken identity. Once you accept, what happens? I am a body. Then naturally it comes to you, am I a man or a woman? Very natural. Then you say I am a man. Then comes, am I married or not married? Yes, if I am married, I am a husband as a man, or I am a wife as a woman. Then comes the profession, then comes the children, the nationality, and so on and so on and so on. So, as far as we are conscious of the fact of this body, mind, senses, even in deep sleep, if somebody calls you by your name, you will immediately respond, because that has become your aparoksha jnana. But what the scriptures are telling us here is, meditate so deeply on this Tattva Jnana, what is your true self, to such an extent that if somebody calls you by the name of, say, Satchidananda, you should be able to get up, because now that has gone deep into your mind. I remember my Guru Acharya, he as a Swami, now he is Swami Advayananda. Now he said that his earlier name was Samahita Chaitanya. Okay. So once, now he has been given the name, he has, from a brahmachari, he has become a sannyasi. So Swami Advayananda is his name. So once he said his teacher, his Guruji, when they wanted to call him, so when he was passing by, they called him by his name. Advayananda ji, Advayananda, they called him. Now this person didn't look back. Then the Guruji told him, wait, I know his problem. Call him by Samahita Chaitanya. Hey Samahita. Immediately he looked back. Why? Because that old conditioning is still there in his mind. So what we have to do is, now we have to change the old, as he changed the old conditioning and got used to the new conditioning, which is Advayananda, Swami Advayananda. That way, this is what we need to do in our lives. Not that we are not used to this. This is one of the examples. Okay, let's say this is something which may be not related to us, but is it not that there are some people who change their name professionally? And it's quite common that the maiden name for a girl before marriage is something else, and then her name after post marriage is something else. It takes some time. That change of that conditioning of the mind is known as aparoksha jnana. Is it not that we change companies? From one company you go into another company. For some time, you have to, till the time you have not reconditioned your mind, that old name will be still in your mind. But then after a while, the new name implants so strongly that the old name dies away. So this aparoksha jnana is what one needs to have in life. So what we'll do is, there is one more. Now what one gains from this knowledge, this final culmination of this is given. I'll just post the shloka, I'll give you the meaning, and then in the next class we can straight dive into the three modes of karma. Okay. Now, here it says, a person who has got this kind of a aparoksha jnana, now he is completely reconditioned his and her mind. So here it says, Brahma eva ahamasmi iti aparoksha jnanena nikila karma bandha vinirmukta syat. Meaning, Brahma eva aham asmi iti, I am Brahman alone. Now you as Brahman know. It's Brahman saying I am Brahman here. Don't get confused that I as a Jiva I am saying Brahman. You can't be Jiva and Brahma together. So it is the Lord and God alone saying that I am Brahman alone. Aparoksha jnanena, by immediate knowledge. Now this Jiva has got that knowledge, and now it says it is Brahman and Brahman alone here. Nikila karma bandha vinirmukta syat. One becomes free from bondage of all karmas. See the beauty here. Now we have got a huge collection of papa and punya. Huge, huge, huge. And we don't know for how many crores and crores of life our booking is already done for so many crores and crores of life. So whatever be the situation, you have to be born to experience this. So here the Shastras and the Guru tells us that the moment you have got this knowledge, you are not this Jiva, and it is that Lord and Lord, that Creator and Creator alone, that Paramatma alone is true by your immediate knowledge. Just like that child knows that if I put my hand in the fire, it burns, it pains. In the same way, you know that you are not this Jivatma, you are that Paramatma alone. Once you get that, he says, what a great awakening. See, he says, all your entire bundle of karmas are burnt away. Now let's say there is a criminal. By the court, he has been told to be hanged to death. Okay? And the date to be for his ceremony is fixed, maybe after a week. Now, before that, if this person dies a natural death, whom will they hang on the date of announcement? There's nobody to be hung, right? In the same way, now this Jiva, when that Jiva has completely understood its true nature and it has nullified, falsified its true nature, then who is to be hung there? Who is going to take a birth? When the Jiva itself is not there, who is going to take a birth? So that is what exactly this particular shloka is telling us. So knowledge does not create anything new. It only removes the ignorance of that self. What false notion you had, that I am that finite Jiva. What false notion you have, you just remove that. And say it is Lord and Lord alone who is in me. There is nobody else. In me there is the Lord, and outside me also it is Lord and Lord alone. You stay in this knowledge, and for that you need to recondition your mind. Just as if you have changed your name, you are changing your personality here. Your perspective about yourself you have changed over here. You are alert. Initially you are alert. Oh, if somebody calls me by this new name, it is me who has to respond. As you keep telling your name initially, oh, my new name is this, my new name is this, and you condition your mind. That reticular activating system, RAS, as you condition this RAS, you have to condition with the Brahma Vakya, Mahavakya, and completely change your understanding about your own self, nothing else. And the moment you do that, your entire karma is burnt off. What will they do when a person has already died? There is nothing to be hung. They'll throw the file. This is no use of keeping this file also. It's okay, send it to the stockyard. Of no use now. So in the same way, this Jivatva has to meet that kind of a death. Before it can even die, with your knowledge, you are burning the Jiva Bhava here. On death, as they burn the body, here you are with the knowledge of Supreme, you are burning your Jiva Bhava. This is the understanding which we all need to have. Okay. So now the next question comes. Then what are those three types of karma which a jiva is bound by? You are saying that all the karmas will be burnt. What all karmas are there? Let me understand that. Is the next question. So which we'll take up. Yes, there are three karmas, Sanchita, Agami and Prarabdha. So in such a person's life, how these three karmas function? Because the person is still living. He has got knowledge. Now he understands what is his true nature. Fine. But let us have an understanding. So this is the question by the disciple. So and Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he answers this. So we'll take it up in the next class. So probably maybe in 2 more sessions, we should be able to finish Tattva Bodha. Next class, we'll see how much I can explain about these three, and failing which, then maybe another class after that. Okay. So thank you everybody. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we all offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord to seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama Om Tat Sat. So we meet on coming Tuesday. Till then, please keep your sadhana intact and keep receiving the grace of the Almighty. Hari Om.